Hi and welcome to the video. Kim here, chartered psychologist. Today in the video, I'm going to be talking about comfort zones, and I get asked this a lot in my clinic rooms. What's stopping me from kind of doing something, from taking that leap, from applying for the new job? What is it that's getting in my way? And often it's because we get stuck in our comfort zone. And this can prevent you from reaching your goals. It can prevent you from applying for that job, for seeking new opportunities, for seeking new stuff, really, from just going out there and doing more. So what is our comfort zone? Well, the comfort zone, it's a behavioral state where you operate sort of, I suppose, in an anxiety neutral way, and you have sort of limited behaviors. Because if you're in your comfort zone, you're in a place where things aren't going to bother you. You're not going to feel anxious because you're not doing anything which is going to cause your threat system to be triggered, or it's nothing new. So you're not going to feel that kind of anxious feeling because you feel very, very comfortable, hence the comfort zone. But the comfort zone is a place where we can kind of get trapped in almost, and it will not allow us to move out and do new things and get new experiences. So we just get trapped. And change does not happen in your comfort zone. So if you think about it, most of us will have learned to drive at some point. And if we waited till we felt really confident and really, gung-ho about getting behind that wheel, we would never get into a car. Learning to drive is definitely something which pushes you outside of your comfort zone. You have to get into a car, this metal container, and you start moving along, and there's other cars all around you. And you don't really know what you're doing, and you're having to concentrate really, really hard. And it is definitely, definitely way outside of most people's comfort zone. And then, having passed your test, the next step outside of your comfort zone is to get into the car and drive on your own without the instructor there, without support. And that is definitely outside of your comfort zone. But the more you do it, you find that it becomes easier and easier and easier. And you just eventually you can do it almost on automatic pilot, so to speak, because change happens when we start to move out of our comfort zone. And so a number of things will prevent us. One of them is fear. So if you feel fear when you're going into a new situation, anxiety's job is to get you to avoid things. So fear will trigger your threat system, and therefore your anxiety wants you to not do that thing. Don't go there, don't go to that social engagement, because oh my god, what if people talk about me? What if I say something stupid? What if I don't know what I'm doing? So it's easier to just not go. We can tell ourselves all kinds of stories about why we're not going and doing things, why we're not trying something new, why we didn't apply for that promotion, because it makes us feel anxious. So we tell ourselves a story to kind of, I suppose, reduce the dissonance so that we feel comfortable with our decision. Oh, well, I'm too tired to go to that party, or I'm too tired to go to that social engagement or that networking event. So I won't go today. I'll just not bother going. I'm really tired. I had a really busy weekend. So I just need this day, this time for myself. I'd rather sit and watch Netflix or whatever on the TV, and just stay in with a glass of wine. And we can tell ourselves that, and then it could almost con ourselves into thinking, well, I'm looking after myself by not going out, when actually we are allowing ourselves to stay within that comfort zone because we don't learn from that experience that actually, yes, we were nervous, but the world didn't end, and we actually managed to cope, and we did it quite well. And keep thinking back to the driving example, or any other skill that you've learned, you did it by increments. And in a way, we need to sort of prepare to fail, because life isn't always about achieving. You're not always going to be successful in every endeavor that you go into, but there are different ways that you as an individual can look at that, either failure or you didn't succeed in something. I suppose one and two are the same thing, but it's just maybe a slightly nicer wording. You can look at it and you can beat yourself up and think about all the awful things. Oh, that must mean I'm just terrible, I'm no good, I'm useless, therefore let's not bother again, let's not do that again, because I don't want to feel this bad, because it does make you feel bad. Or you can use the other way of thinking about things and think, well, actually, what did I do right? I did this right, that right. Okay, it didn't quite work out. I didn't get the promotion, but maybe it was because there were people with more skills than me. So do I need to skill up? What is I need to do? How could I change this and do it better the next time? And actually, continuous learning is something we do quite a lot in our lives without even thinking about it. For example, if you get a stain on the carpet, you might use a particular product, but that didn't remove it. So you go and find out what you could do. You look on the internet now and think, oh, well, I can remove that stain. So you kind of learn that actually that one didn't work, but by doing this, I can actually improve on that. And we can use that continuous learning, kind of like, what did I do? What mistakes did I make? How could I have done it better? What do I think I can learn from this? And you're continuously improving your skills, and you're not just beating yourself up. You're using it as a learning opportunity rather than something to just berate ourselves with and have that inner critic just no, 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 in your shoulder and in your ear, just sitting on your shoulder, in your ear, really berating you. Because we can learn from our mistakes all the time. If we take each mistake that we make as a learning opportunity, we have a very different relationship with it. We're not going to feel full of dread and horror about ourselves and wanting to avoid all the things that, would have led up to that. No, we are learning from it. We can see the mistake and we can see what we can do better. And we do this in driving as well. If you make a mistake, if you stall the car, you learn what you did, the biting point of the clutch. So you learn from that mistake that actually, if I do this next time, just release it slightly more slowly, use the accelerator, actually, I'm not going to stall. And so you're continuously learning from your behavior and what you're doing. And if you do that and you take the mistakes and actually look at them as something positive you can learn from, you'll start to grow in confidence, because you will know that actually I can learn from this. It's not going to be catastrophic. I'm not going to beat myself up, because it's that inner critic that usually makes us feel so awful about our mistakes that we just want to run away and hide. But if we face it head on, and again, moving out of that comfort zone, we will gain in self-confidence. And also we'll start changing the way we perhaps think about how we're living in the minds of others. Because if we make a mistake and we assume that everyone's going to be looking at us thinking we're useless and awful, and oh my God, they didn't get that job, and oh, that must mean that they're not any good at it. No, that you're thinking about yourself in a different way. So you will probably start thinking differently about how you're living in the minds of others, or it just won't bother you, because you will feel much more self-confident in you and your abilities and your ability to learn from it, that other people's opinions are not so important. Because let's face it, quite often when we are doing that and living in the minds of others, we're not thinking, oh, well, they must think I'm really wonderful, or they think I'm really, really nice. No, we tend to think very negative things, and we don't necessarily have any evidence that what we're thinking is true. So if we can learn from our mistakes, we'll grow in confidence and we will change the way we're living in the minds of others. And by doing this, we will start to develop new skills. We will see that actually by doing a little bit each time, by moving another toe out of the comfort zone, and then another toe, and then another toe, we will start to grow. Our skill set will start to develop, and we'll be open to learning, we'll be open to developing ourselves, and we'll have a much more rich and fulfilled life. We're not living on automatic pilot anymore, because when you're sitting in your comfort zone, you're not moving out, you're not getting new experiences, because it feels very, very nice. And I think that's happened to quite a lot of people during the pandemic. And I heard this from a lot of my clients when they were going back to work, how they felt really anxious about going back into social situations, especially anybody who's got even a touch of social anxiety. Of course, in the pandemic, you wouldn't have had to put yourself out there. You wouldn't have had to go out into the world. So you were very definitely in your comfort zone at home, or all those introverts just sat there thinking, oh, this is marvelous. I don't have to see anybody. However, we have to relearn some of these skills and push ourselves out of our comfort zone, because change will not happen if we just stay put. So there we are. That's how you can actually start to move out of your comfort zone and start thinking about, where does my comfort zone start and end? Because if we stop doing things, it gets narrower and narrower and narrower. We're not saying we want to go from here to right over there. No, you go out toe by toe, increment by increment. And the more you do it, the more you will learn that actually, although you felt anxious, the world didn't end, nothing bad happened to you, and you can learn from everything that you do. So there we go. That's your comfort zone. So think about that. Think about how you can start moving out of your comfort zone now, just to do something for yourself, something which you have been putting off, maybe that you didn't want to do because fear is actually stopping you. It could be in your experience like going rock climbing, or biking, or even just going out onto the bike on the road, doing something which is pushing you just outside of your comfort zone. You don't want to choose something which is really, really awful, like I'm going to climb Everest now, when you've never been on a mountain before. No, something which you can just about manage. It does raise your anxiety slightly, but not so much that fear is holding you back. So good luck with that. And please drop any comments that you like. I'd love to hear about how you moved out of your comfort zone and how you found it, and whether or not you engaged in this continuous learning process. See you in the next video. Check below for my website, www.transformyourmindset.co.uk, because my free thing is coming soon. Thanks for now. Bye.